Hello, welcome back to the HVAC Budget channel. And today I've got some really exciting multi-tools to review. This is going to be a review about the Leatherman Surge versus the Victorinox Swisstool. Now these are a really good matchup. They're very similar in size. If you notice, the Swisstool is just slightly smaller. These are both fairly heavy-duty multi-tools. And let's start with the cases first of all. So to be upfront, I have been carrying the Surge a lot longer than the Victorinox Swisstool. But the Surge I've been carrying maybe for a month, so it's not like I've been having it 6 months or something. So I do need to put some shoe polish. Someone recommended shoe polish on the video, and that's probably what I need to do. This case is held up. It's not really falling apart. It just has definitely got scuffed up since I've used it so heavily for my work. So let's look at the other case. One of the first things I notice is the Victorinox Swisstool definitely feels like a lighter tool. The Surge feels a lot heavier on the belt. That's not really a problem for me. I carry them both on the belt, but just so you know, just in feeling whether it is or not perception-wise, the Victorinox Swisstool definitely feels like a more compact package. All right, so with the sheaths out of the way, let's look at the tools themselves. So first of all, again, I wanted to mention the Swisstool definitely feels a little bit more compact, but that is a positive and also a negative. So let's go ahead and look at the pliers here, and we notice that the Swisstool plier head is definitely going to be a little bit smaller. It's going to be a little bit shorter, and also I want to mention that the cutting edge for cutting wires is definitely smaller than the Leatherman Surge. So that's something I was a little bit frustrated in. I used that this week. It worked fine for the wires I needed, but I prefer a longer cutting jaw. There's just, for what I do in HVAC, sometimes there's larger wires I need to cut, and the Leatherman Surge has about the perfect amount of cutting space. So both these tools, I would say the Victorinox is one of the only multi-tools you can get that really feels like it's on par with the Leatherman. But still, I feel like there's a couple pluses and minuses to the Swisstool as well. All right, so let's look at one of the other pluses. And one of the other pluses I notice is what I like is that the tools are on the outside, all of them. So let's go ahead and fold the Surge up, and we notice you've got 4 outside tools, but those aren't always the tools I need. So in HVAC, unfortunately, a lot of the tools I'm using most of the time are screwdrivers. Well, that's not on the outside of this tool, so I have to open it up constantly. It's not a huge deal, but and use a screwdriver. All right, so on the Swisstool, one of the nice things that I really like is, there it is. There's your screwdriver. You pull this out and automatically all these are right there for your access. So that is something that is really nice, and I think it shouldn't be understated. The Leatherman Surge, I love this tool, and I still think it's the best, but it really could stand to have some outside screwdriver bits like the long Leatherman Mutt bit. I know someone has mentioned that that would be a really nice addition for the Leatherman Surge, and I agree that would be really nice to have an outside screwdriver, Phillips and plain edge access to the Leatherman Surge. All right, so looking at this particular model of Swisstool, one of the things I notice also is it doesn't, what are some of the things rather it doesn't have? So it doesn't have these nice pair of scissors that the Leatherman Surge has. It doesn't have the bit exchanger. So those are 2 things that definitely I love about the Leatherman Surge. Also, I do like that the Leatherman Surge has this adapter tool for where you can swap out different saw blades and the file. As I mentioned before, I really haven't used this, but it's nice to have the option there in case I need to. So I really like this added modularity to the Leatherman Surge. That's a huge deal. One of the things looking at the Swiss tool, let's see, where is it's actually on the other side. So looking at the Swiss tool, one of the things I used this week, well, let's see if I can find it, was the awl. So the awl was used this week. And one of the things I noticed was, I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like the metal is just a little bit thinner on the Swisstool awl. Now, again, to be perfectly frank, I was using this for something I shouldn't. I was trying to make a hole in sheet metal, and obviously that's not what this is designed for. But I was able to roll the edge on the awl fairly easily the first time, and I was slightly disappointed. Now, on my Leatherman, I have used it for the exact same thing repeatedly over these past couple months. And yes, there is some deformity on the edge, but I've used this for probably 10 to 20 times. And this, on the first time I used it, just immediately the edge was deformed. It's not bad, and maybe I don't need that edge, but it was a little bit disappointing, to say the least. But other than that, the Swisstool performed really well. So the main disappointments for me for the Swisstool so far have been the smaller cutting edges, and then just some of the things that it doesn't have modular-wise that the Leatherman Surge does. So the Swisstool does not have replaceable cutters. That would not be a huge issue if the cutters were longer. I don't mind. Usually I don't abuse my cutters extremely, but unfortunately on these the cutters are fairly small, so the Surge definitely wins. I love that the Leatherman Surge has this modular tool. I like that the Leatherman Surge has this bit exchanger, and I really do like that the Leatherman Surge has this beefier looking awl. That is sort of important to me because I do sort of abuse that particular part of the multi-tool. Now, again, one of the things I love about the Swisstool is it's got these outside tools, and one of the things I didn't mention yet is these tools are very long. So whereas on the Leatherman you've got sometimes some very long outer tools and some skinny or some short inner tools, the Swisstool actually you get some very long reach screwdrivers, which for my profession in HVAC, that's really nice for some of the things I use it for. It's nice to have that extra length. So you've got the long straight edge on the screwdrivers, and then you've got this long Phillips. So you've got a really long bit there as well. So again, looking at the Surge, we notice that it's really nice that it has this bit exchanger, but especially if you're looking at Phillips, that's going to be a lot shorter. So again, with the Swisstool, you've only got one choice, but that one choice is a pretty good choice, and it's got a really long reach as well. Those are some of the observations I've noticed between these two tools. Quality-wise, I think they're fairly similar. I would have to say the Leatherman metal might be just a tad heavier duty than the Swisstool, but I feel like quality-wise, they're pretty similar. So the Swisstool, I feel like the advantage is it feels like it's a more compact package. It's got outside opening tools, every single one, but the Leatherman Surge I still feel like is king because it's got some really added extra benefits that for me still put it at the top. Will I be switching to the Swisstool? Not yet, not for now. For now, I still love my Leatherman Surge. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.